that, and he said something that I never heard before. And my Charlie was this. He was such a incredible, loving member of our family. And he's a son. I mean, that's why I look at him. He's a son.
And that's exactly what your pets are. They're your kids.
Yeah. He said, "You know what dog is spelled backwards?"
God.
Yeah.
You never knew that?
No, I didn't. And all the things I've learned in my life, no. So
well, I was trying to explain this to Buck Matthews or Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
Because my cousin has a thing called Bark Dog. He's a Christian, right?
Yeah.
He has this thing called Bark Dog, right? And it's his thing to show the Christian way. It's like a cartoon for kids and stuff like that. And his big saying is, "Have you seen my dog?" But really, it's, "Have you seen my God?"
Yeah.
Right?
And there's such a gift from God.
And so I was trying to explain this to Buck, and he thought it was insulting God because he used the dog, right?
Yeah.
And Peter said it the best, right? Dog
I never heard that before. Not in my whole life.
No,
I've never heard that
really?
Before. It was a nice time for it to come too.
So. Yeah, exactly. And I know how tough it is. I mean, I've been through.
I cried my eyes out yesterday.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? It'll all of a sudden well up again when you think about it, and especially when you look at a picture or something, and all the good times you have, and all the memories you've had with your dog. I mean, let's face it, everybody's dog is the best dog in the world.
You got it.
Right? And I'll sit there and go, no, your dog's not the best dog. My dog was the best dog. But it's always the same because you feel you're broke. As a matter of fact, and I told you this yesterday when you told me about this, I was so heartbroken when I had to put my dog down. But I never got another one. I can't take the heartbreak.
I get that. And I didn't want the two I have now. One, thank God, is still alive. He's only 10. But I said to my wife after I lost 2 shepherds in 1 year, I said, I can't do this. It destroys you. I mean, a good friend of ours, Rita Carey, who I did the Pete and Reed show with, who, please put her in your prayers. She's got some health issues right now, and she needs some prayers. But it's just amazing. Want me to fix that?
Yeah, just crank that thing the other way. Yeah, the other way, so you lift it up a bit. Because, we're not getting it.
Because I'm a little taller than I look, right?
You are, yeah. Jeez. It's either that or the chair.
And she lost a child, Rita. So, I mean, you lose it. I can't even imagine losing a child. Losing a dog yesterday it's bad. The reason I'm late is I was just talking to my wife, who's really having a tough time, and Sam, our other dog, is really messed up missing his brother. So it's tough.
Yeah, and to put this in perspective for you, I hope you don't mind me saying this, is that your wife is in Florida right now, in Naples, for the place in Florida, because she works down there because of this baloney with COVID. That's another story that we could do a whole show on. But so she's down there, and the dog was down there, and you're up here, and you want to be together when this stuff like this happens.
And another lesson I learned, because one of the dogs that died previously, we had to put to sleep, and I couldn't be in the room. I just couldn't, right? And then I got told by somebody, you need to be there. They need to see you, right? So
I know that's the whole thing with it. Like when I had to put my dog down, I was in the room and gave her the last pet before, the one, and they sedated the dog, and it was seriously tough. I mean, the hardest thing I had to do in my life. I'm telling you that decision is the last act of love you can show for your best friend, your dog. You can't do it for humans, but you can do it for your dog, and that's it, because they're in pain, and it's time. And they let you know it's time too. They don't pull any punches with you. They look at you and go, "It's time. Please help me."
So we were lucky enough
it's a killer.
My wife had it on live on Facebook, and me and my daughters and my son watching. He listened. He looked right in our eyes, and you could tell he was glad we were there. So, anyways, God bless Charlie.
Yeah, and you know what? I can't even watch my dog Skip because I had a Jack Russell.
Yeah.
I can't watch the movie.
Yeah.
I can watch almost any movie, and I don't break down or get emotional about it, right? It's a movie. But this dog, with the Jack Russell, that's what I had. It just touches you to the core, and you're beside yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope maybe talking like this has helped you a little
No,
bit
talking
today.
helps. I mean, it just, every
It
now and then,
does.
I'm fighting back tears right now. So
I know that I had to do it 13 years ago, and I look at the picture of me, Liz, and the dog,
yeah,
and I still sometimes,
and I didn't know because
get emotional.
Peter Sacco couldn't deal with it. He lost a dog 4 weeks ago, never told me.
Oh my goodness!
He's been going through it. So
well, he should know he has to share with people. He's just like
sometimes doctors think they have to be tough too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. He's a sweetheart of a guy. And
I found comfort, in my, my friends saying, "Oh, it's too bad," and talking about it, remembering the dog, because most people, your friends, know your dog and they love it too.
Yeah,
and they'll say, "Oh, yeah, remember when the dog grabbed that girl's pantyhose and stretched it out right across the pool?" Just crazy stories, and you just remember the good stuff and everything else, but. It's always nice to talk about. Anyway, my condolences, man. I just feel so bad for you, and I feel bad for anybody out there who has to lose a pet.
Well, I have several
it's just
people.
Terrible.
Tony Daniels, who did a little bit of Hockey Night in Canada, a lot of radio work, good friend of mine, does a lot of acting right now, and he lost his dog on the same day, yesterday. And,
man.
Yeah, we hadn't talked in a while, and we reconnected, and he's going through it too. And he had the dog for 20 years. Charlie was 14 and a half.
Good life.
Yeah, honestly, God, just an amazing animal. I've never had a dog like I love all my dogs, okay, and they were all amazing in their own. This dog was just out of this world. He actually taught his brother a lot of things. He taught his brother how to serve him. So when it was time for a walk, he taught the little one how to go and get the leash. But now it's like, hey, you get my leash, you get this. You go out there and piss off your parents to get treats, and then I'll come in and get them after. You get them for me.
No, they're amazing animals. Yeah. I have a cat, and cats are really good, but cats are aloof. I mean, they really don't care. They can take care of themselves, and they look at you like,
really?
What are you going to do for me if I'm going to come over there? Yeah. They sit in the front and look at, yeah, like there's got to be something in it for them. They're a little bit easier to deal with. It's still tough when you have to put them down or whatever, but
they're pretty independent.
Different. Yeah, dogs are great. I mean, like I told you yesterday, you throw your dog in the trunk and come back in an hour, and you open that trunk, that dog's so happy to see you, it's licking your face. You throw your wife in the trunk for an hour, and you see what happens when you open that trunk. It's not quite the same reaction.
You got that right.
Anyway, I didn't even get the start of this going because my name's Paul Calamere. Of course, this is Your City, Your Voice on 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls. And of course, this is my good buddy, Peter Dychtiar, who comes in on Straight Talk Thursday.
Thanks for having me.
Because we want to give you the straight talk on stuff. But first, I got to get to my sponsors, right? And you know what I did? I didn't bring my script today. So
anyways.
This is my script.
You know it.
I know it anyway, right? So, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. We're getting to that time of year. Yeah, it's foolery. You get fooled
Summer's
by the
tricked
weather.
us.
Yeah, you get fooled by the weather. You think, oh, geez, we're getting this till December. This is beautiful. But you know what? It could turn on a dime. And in that regard, you got to get down to Wild Bill's. And he's offering an end of summer checkup for your car. Yeah, he's going to throw your car in his diagnostic equipment. He's going to check your tires, your brakes, your air pressure. He's going to check everything for free. And then he's going to give you the lowdown for free.
Free.
He's going to check your car for free, all your systems and everything, your fluids, everything. And then he's going to take it for a spin to see if he can hear anything clunking or clanking. And if there's anything wrong, he'll tell you what it is, tell you a price, and he's going to fix it. And that's great. Before winter starts, you want to make sure everything's running good. You don't want to break down on the side of the road in the winter. That's not fun. Be proactive, not reactive. And if you get in a smash 'em up derby, no big deal. He's got a body shop there. You bring it in.
He's got it all.
Yeah, he's got it all. Like Bogey and Bacall. And he'll bring your car in and send it out to you in showroom condition. You're going to be so happy. He'll be happy. I'll be happy because you're supporting our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive next to the Kia dealership. Give Ken Hunter a call today. Okay, so, I want to talk a little bit about some stuff on City Council. And one of the things that irked me, there's a lot that irks me, but I'm going to give a couple compliments out.
Yeah, good.
In the meantime, right, as well. snow removal.
Yes.
Now,
Glad I'm not going to be here for
these
that.
jabronis, they want to pass a bylaw where if you don't shovel your front walk, they're going to fine you.
Don't have one. Don't have to worry about it. They've talked about that over the years, though, right?
But I don't get it because it's not my property. Why do I have to shovel it? I pay taxes, so they shovel it. That's part of the city job.
And what about our seniors, which we have a lot of?
Yeah, well, you're going to have somebody to do theirs for
So you got to go pay that with the money you don't have because you're paying all your taxes and trying to survive with the high price of food, gas, and everything else.
Yeah, they raise your taxes 4%, and then they're going to fine you for not shoveling your sidewalk.
Wrong. I don't agree with that. That's wrong. That's 100% wrong.
But what about this? I shovel my sidewalk, and I do this all the time. And the plow comes by and fills it back in.
Yep.
And you know what? It's not the fluffy snow I just shoveled. It's the dregs from the bottom of the road with salt and sand and all kinds of crap and corruption. They fill it in. You can't shovel it. It's
the heart attack. It's the heart attack snow.
It's the heart attack snow. So I'm going to go shovel it out when they just filled it in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how about this, Peter? Let me make a suggestion. You tell me what you think of this idea. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get a jackhammer and I'm going to remove the sidewalk.
Because obviously it's yours.
It's mine. I'm going to fill it in with grass. And I don't have to worry about it. I won't have to shovel it anymore. And there, it's beautiful. I have one big grass right to the road. How about that? They can put all the snow they want on it. And they'll say, you know what? You can't do that. You don't own that sidewalk. I don't? Okay, so why am I shoveling it? Let the owner shovel it.
So is it a money thing? Like we don't have these snow removal on the sidewalks all over the place. Is it a money thing that we're going to still spend $11 million on a new walking area, right?
Yeah, we spend $12 million on walking paths.
But we can't spend the money on where money really should be used.
Right, so let the sidewalks fill up. And you know what? Go to the walking paths that they shovel to walk if you want. I don't walk on my sidewalks. I don't walk anywhere.
I have so many seniors in my neighborhood, and they're out there by themselves. And I go, and it's sad to see, right? And they are trying to do the sidewalks.
Yeah, I did too, but I have a snowblower.
Mm-hmm.
So I go down my sidewalk and blow it all off. But also, I pick up all the sticks, all the branches, all the junk on the sidewalk on the front of my property as well. So I go with my snowblower and I'm fine. As soon as I cross the line to the neighbor who don't take care of their place, do you remember when they used to have the shopping news in the plastic?
Yeah.
And they just throw it?
Yep.
Well, they ended up on the sidewalk in front of my neighbor's house.
And in your snowblower.
And they never picked it up. They never bothered. And it's under the snow. And I'm doing them a favor and a chunk. And there goes your pinion or whatever the hell it's called. It breaks your snowblower, right? Why am I and then the sticks and branches from the tree on their property.
Another shear pin has to go in.
Yeah. So why the hell am I going to go do that? And I ain't shoveling it by hand. I mean, that's it. I use the snowblower. That's why I got it. So you want to be a good neighbor, but they got people that are young enough to shovel their own driveway. So and then their sidewalk. So
this shouldn't even be a discussion.
It really shouldn't.
It should not be a discussion. The city fathers, you listening? Find a way to get it done.
That's my
serve
whole thing.
Us. All of you. You serve us. And if you don't think that's a consideration, so what is it? It's just a place where you take in money, give back as little as you can. What are you doing with the rest? Blowing it out there? It still irks me when you said they've got $350,000 and they want to know what we want to do with it. Are you kidding me?
I know. And you know what they give us a choice of? $75,000 worth of art at the skateboard park. Here's your choices: $75,000 of art at the skateboard. Well, I read off all the ridiculous things that you could choose from. I mean, and not only that, are you insulting me? $350,000 out of $177 million. That's what you're going to give us to spend?
You should be thankful. And then you get a multiple choice too.
It's an insult.
Yeah,
it's an insult to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
$350,000. Take it and do something else with it, like do the sidewalks. I mean, come on, like if you give people the right choices. Do you want a new $12 million trail? We already got Millennium Trail. We got 32 miles of Parks Commission trails that we can do it, plus other trails, the Bruce Trail and everything else.
And they're all connected.
Yeah, why don't they ask us this? Would you rather have $12 million trail or would you rather have your sidewalks plowed?
Sidewalks.
And you know what, Pete? Here's what really gets me in Niagara Falls. We're the luckiest SOBs in the world. How many big snow events do we really get in a year?
Luckily, in the last few years, not a whole lot.
No, so they would have to go out there and use their plows maybe 3 times a year or something.
And what if they saved in the budget in snow removal over the last 3, 4, 5
Probably
years?
lots.
This can be done. Without a doubt, this can be done.
And then they say, well, some sidewalks are too narrow. Hey, did you ever hear of a torch? You cut the plow in half, use a small plow. They have small school buses. So
invest in some small sidewalk.
So these excuses and that,
and again, I'm standing up here because in my area where I live, we don't have sidewalk.
Yeah,
some of circles.
Maybe that's what they should do. Get rid of sidewalks everywhere.
Yeah, they're a liability. They're a liability.
They are.
And then you've got all these sidewalks now with the purple spray paint on there because they've all moved because they weren't, sidewalks weren't done nicely. How many years ago? You remember the sidewalks? Were they ever all a mess? It was like 20, 30 years and they were still sitting there pristine. Now they're all bent all over the place and people are tripping over them. And maybe that's why they want to plow them. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're inside that little snowplow, you are going to get knocked out. Guaranteed.
Yeah, you catch that thing and flips it right over. You catch one of those sidewalks that are up this high.
It's not even funny. I mean, there's $350,000. I know it isn't a whole lot of concrete, but let's do something somewhere, right?
Yeah. I don't know. They're nickel and diming us with stuff. If you're going to plow the sidewalks, plow them. What the heck? And then they're going to, if you want to park, $35 for a parking pass. Why not just put that in our tax bill as a perk for putting up with a casino and tourists and everything? How much are they going to lose by not charging everybody $35? Seriously, I mean, it should be chime guns. You got 177 million. You're beating us for $35, poor people.
Yeah.
I just don't get their.
So, what do you think? What is the revenue on the meters in the city? Do you have an idea? Because you're well versed.
I don't know they keep changing. Got these automatic things, and then you got to count the revenue for tickets and that. And people don't pay in zone 1 and zone 2. They made it really complicated. Even with this $35 pass, you can park in a zone for 2 hours. But if you go out, like move your car.
How do you know where the zone is?
Well, you don't.
You guess.
And your car is like kind of the guy reads your license plate and he says in 2 hours if this guy's not gone. But if you take your car out of there, they don't know, and you come back even after the 2 hours. Say you went out, and then you came back and parked 2 hours later in that zone, you get a ticket.
And pretty soon that's going to be all electronic. There'll be nobody walking down the street.
Exactly.
You just automatically get a ticket like you do in these speed areas, right?
And you can't park in city parking lots. So, I mean, you want to go to Yanks, have a pizza and wings, that parking lot, behind the old New Yorker.
Yeah. And there isn't a whole lot of places where there's metered parking anyways. Downtown here, right? Maybe a little bit on Victoria Avenue. Where else?
And Queen Street.
Yeah, that's what I said, downtown.
Yeah, downtown. That's it.
So where else?
Well, in front of the hospital there, but I mean, you think you're going to get free park, and you're never going to get a spot. There's not that many.
Would they make
more in the tourist
Would they make a couple $100,000 on parking
meters? Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so minus that from 350,000. Yeah. And help downtown because it needs it. Okay,
yeah, I don't know. I just don't get them nickel and diming us.
It's all a facade. It's a facade.
Plow all the sidewalks. You do 2/3 of them anyway. They're going to do zone 2 and 3 now, or whatever the heck it is, right? So they're going to do most of the main streets anyway. They're going to have that. So it's just the side streets they do.
So if you hired 3 more employees, right? Let's say you paid them $50,000 a year plus all their benefits, which is a really good wage, right?
That's about probably what they make.
And let's say the equipment costs a couple $1 million. Compare that to $12 million for a new walkway.
Yeah, and you know what? Mike Strange. Councillor Strange said, what's it take, 3 minutes to shovel a sidewalk? Well, geez, if you put a guy at the top of my street and it's 3 minutes for each house, he's going to be done in an hour. He can do the whole subdivision and probably yours and some others in a day. Take him there and let him go. Here's a shovel. Go. Yeah. Shovel all these sidewalks. 3 minutes a house you got. I don't know. I just hate these chimichanga. When
hire 3, get the equipment, get it done. Put it in the budget, away we go. And get rid of the meters. Stop. And then, you know what that does? It gets rid of employees too, and they're not city employees, right? They're hired in employees.
Yeah.
Because our bylaw officers are not employees of the city. Is that correct?
The commissioners aren't, but there are some employees in the cities that.
But for the most part, right? The guys who are out in the cars.
They're commissioners. Some of those guys. It's a company they pay to do it.
Exactly.
To
think of the money they'd save.
Yeah, I just don't.
I think it would pay for itself, and it would help the downtown. It would revive this downtown, which I think, honest to God, I really believe it has potential. I like our downtown.
Yeah, me too. I grew up right over there with my grandmother. We got Cisco.
Some fine foods going by.
There you go. Cisco Systems. Good things come from Cisco.
Yeah.
Are they paying me to say that?
I hope so, because that's worth yeah, get that off the tape.
But anyway, did you see the new development going up at the Oaks?
I heard about it.
2 twin towers, 58 stories going up there.
Won't affect the escarpment at all. Heat, climate change. Won't affect that, right? Nothing.
What movie, you're a movie buff, you know about this stuff, was the Monolith in? Remember that big black monolith?
Yes,
was it in A Space Odyssey?
Yes.
Space Odyssey?
Yes, yeah, it was. Yeah.
2001, A Space Odyssey. Or was it in Clockwork Orange?
I think it was Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
That black monolith.
Yes.
Well, that's what these things look like. This is the most...
Are they black?
Well, they might as well be. This is the most unimaginative build I've ever seen. I mean, most of the buildings that they're showing us are layered and tilted and square, rectangular. They look like something to behold, like iconic. They're going to put up these 2 monoliths next to each other on the Oaks property. They're just flat. They're rectangles standing straight up.
Really?
Going up 58 stories.
Flat and straight.
That's
With
it.
all the technology, the design, the beautiful falls sitting there. I mean, we were promised when they were going to allow stories to be built above, 8 stories, that it was going to be pristine. They were going to design a skyline. It was going to be beautiful. That went, as soon as this, whatever that is, goes down. Look, that was a free-for-all down there. Let's be honest. It was a free-for-all.
It was.
Including the casino. And they took down trees. They took down trees in the escarpment to build it.
And I mean, look at this is what it looks like. Exactly like 2 of them, 58 stories.
Wow, isn't that
right?
beautiful?
Like that. That's what it looks like. So that's
nice.
what you're going to face if you're looking at it. And if you're looking away like that, it might not be black. It might be glass or whatever. But here's my thing, right? This is probably the cheapest architecture that you can build.
100%.
I mean, a rectangle or a square building, going up that high.
And there won't be enough parking. 100% guaranteed. And that's already a mess there.
No, they're putting a parking ramp on the corner of Dixon and Stanley to be able to hold the people that are going to be staying at these 2 58-story towers.
Oh, I thought maybe the arena property, they could build, 10 or 12 stories of parking there, too.
You might see
you
that.
can walk over there.
But, so they're going to build that on Dixon and Stanley for this complex. But they also want to have 126 residential units in it. So the top...
Part of the 15-minute city.
Yeah, the part of the top of the towers are going to be residential probably because that's where they can get the most money from, a room with a view, right? So they have to have parking spaces on site. So they're going to have enough on site for that to meet the 1.4 because residential buildings fall under a different code than commercial buildings. And then they're going to have this other big parking ramp that's going to be able to take the rest of the overflow. So I'm looking at it going, my goodness.
More views of the falls being blocked.
Please give us some nicer structures. We want to build a skyline. When you look at it, you go, wow. I mean, the Empire State Building isn't the same as the Chrysler Building, isn't the same as the Twin Towers.
You got it. Wayne Thompson, in his day, there was a lot of things I disagreed with, but I'll tell you the one thing I did agree with wholeheartedly was the monorail system. Build all of this on the outskirts, out by Niagara Square, build a little city of its own right there. And leave the falls and the park natural as they were meant to be.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have 2 big towers now.
And then just down the street by the old museum there, the Niagara Falls Museum, there's supposed to be another 272 towers there with a lot of residential.
That's been on the go for a while. We got a 77-story tower going up at the corner of Allendale and Robinson Street. We got another 72-story tower supposed to be going where that old elephant parking ramp is, the white elephant.
Yeah.
On Dunn and Stanley. There's a lot of builds going on. I mean,
I'm sure Planet Hollywood's been sitting there for a long time. Something's got to be going there.
Yeah. there's a lot of talk about it, but I don't see any action.
And what kind of tax revenue, or what are we going to have to pay tax-wise to build the infrastructure to house all of this and take care of it? We have to pay for that. No, you know what? Charge them.
Huge.
They're going to make big amounts of money, huge amounts of money. Charge them for the infrastructure and the stress on our pollution plant system. They can't handle it right now because they have to build another one. Who's paying for that? Oh, we are. It's so nice. But you look at all these hotels, you look at all this property down here, and our taxes are going up. Last year, this year, not only city taxes, regional taxes, water rates, administration fees.
Everything.
Check your bills and see what you're actually getting charged.
It's ridiculous.
And if you don't, oh yeah, that's not bad. I pay it off. No, have it read.
And then another thing came to city council about fees for sidewalk patios. And they had said these fees are too high. Nobody wants to have sidewalk patios. And I say baloney. Listen, these guys want sidewalk patios because they're making a fortune.
You got it.
And they want to drop the fees for them because they think the number of sidewalk patios went down. Well, you know what? Like, why do you think people wanted sidewalk patios in the first place? Because you couldn't get inside because of the COVID laws.
Yep.
Or else they would have never wanted sidewalk patios. And they made their face because everybody could go and they didn't have to block people out or wear masks or any of that other stuff. So that's why they wanted them. They made a fortune. And you still have like Ronnie Don's ice cream down here. They got one taking up the whole sidewalk. People have to walk around it. The Hilton takes up a whole line of traffic in front of the casino.
That's all public property.
It is.
Public property, you pay to play.
And they're paying because they're earning.
Yeah.
So don't drop any fees. The guys who want them will pay for them. The guys who don't want them won't pay for them. What do we care how many applications we get from people to block our sidewalk?
Yeah. And do you impede the safety? Because I know you can walk through those things, but most people walk around them.
Well, see, I don't even know if you can walk through them because some of them, I think because of liquor laws, you can't have access from the street. You got to go through the building.
Because anybody walking through could sniff some booze and get drunk.
Yeah, like Ronnie Don over here, he can because, I mean, he's ice cream. And the Hilton might be able to because it's a restaurant. But if you've got a bar, I don't know if you can access it without going into the building. Now, I'm thinking of Grand Central here. Yeah, I think you can access through. Maybe they changed the laws, since then. But anyway, they're making money, so charge them. Come on. I mean, do you really care how many people have outdoor patios? If they can't make a go of it, then don't do it. If they can, then do it and pay the price to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of times, they don't look that nice either.
Well, no, they kind of block the streets, and a lot of them are pretty crappy looking, really.
Now, if you shut the street down,
that's a different story.
Yeah, then it becomes something really cool.
Then it becomes like I was in Cleveland. There's a whole street they shut down. And it's all sidewalks, the outdoor patios on the road. I mean, they take up the road because it's shut down. And it's really nice. I mean, the Italian restaurant was beautiful. The Blues, House of Blues is there. And there's a bunch of stuff. But if you're going to leave the streets open and that, then you kind of are making people walk on the street maybe or something. It's a safety issue. But anyway, I just found it funny.
So just imagine, right? Just imagine. You cobblestone that whole Queen Street. Make it really nice. You build a 9-story parking lot over here in the crater.
Yeah, in the meteor crater.
Yeah, and you park a bazillion cars in there. And a couple of these other areas where, it's run down, build some more parking ramps, right? What have you got? You got some places, and you're going to get some fine restaurants down here. You're going to get people down here. And guess what? Yes, it's away from the tourist mecca, okay? But you're going to make more tax revenue down here, too. You're going to add, and it's local. It'll be year-round.
It'll be for residents. Oh, yeah. There's the spy lady.
Is she out?
I haven't seen her lately. I haven't seen her wandering around lately.
She's looking at us right now. You just can't tell.
She's probably got secret spy cameras in her glasses or something. But so I don't know. I just watch City Council. I just kind of get a chuckle at some of the stuff. But you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to Mona Patel.
Okay.
And I don't do that. You know that. Yeah. I never do that. But I am going to give her for a couple things. Like she got up and made a lot of sense on a couple things. And I know that our buddy Gary Wilkins, right, had pointed out about an incident at Oaks Park where some guy was going into the women's washroom.
Yep.
And Gary saw him and told him to get lost. I don't know. If
Recorded some of it.
He did. Yeah, he recorded some of it, and then the cops finally picked the guy up. But Gary said, like, because it's a public place and that kind of thing, that they should have cameras. Because some you might be there, some woman might be walking the track and have to go to the bathroom, and then some guy's going to follow her in, right? And that, so they should have cameras there to be able to make sure nobody's monkeying around there. And I don't disagree with it. I think it's a great idea. And Mona got up and she actually mentioned it. And I know Gary did get a hold of her and tell her about it. And she actually got up in council. So the review of the council is going to be coming up in November. There's 2-year anniversary. And we give them grades. We gave them 100 days. We gave them a grade. We gave them 1 year. We gave them a grade. And we give them a grade after 2 years, which is in November.
Halfway
right?
through.
Halfway, yeah. So when it comes up to graded, if I keep seeing Mona get up there and make sense and not be a nincompoop, then I'm going to give her an arrow
Tim
up.
Walls.
I'm giving her an arrow up.
All right.
And last meeting, she was excellent. Congratulations to Councillor Patel.
I didn't want to put a wrench in all this, but how do you know that wasn't a woman who looked like a man?
Well, that's a good point. Maybe the one going into the bathroom was a woman.
You never know.
Gary, if you're out there, did you check that? Did you check them for the
parts?
The parts? Did you check the goods? I don't know. Man, it's a wacky world. And that's what.
Well, you don't know what to believe, what to trust, what you see, what you say.
Well, I mean, if Tampon Tim was running the show,
he's amazing.
He would tell you you're under arrest for being homophobic and transphobic and a racist and Ku Klux Klan and everything else.
And the next day he'd say, "I didn't say that."
Yeah, then he'd say, "Which
card am I with now?" I did say that.
I was in Tiananmen Square when that happened. I forgot.
Right in the middle of it in a tank.
Oh my goodness, just crazy. But anyway, back to these towers. I don't like the design of them. And I wish they would do something more iconic so that when you look at the skyline, you see something, not these two big black 2001 A Space Odyssey monoliths stretching up into the sky beside each other, 58 stories. That's my only thing with it. I love the development.
I'd still rather have it just keep it height that it already is. Okay.
Well, it's 56 stories now.
Yeah, no, it blocks more view, right? And trust me when I tell you, all of this changes the microclimate of the falls.
It does.
And if you notice, it's a fact. This is a fact. It's not conspiracy theory. All the heat generated by those buildings, even with the sun on them, draws the mist our way because everything goes from cold up to hot, which rises. And even in the middle of the winter, because of those buildings, you have heat, you change the convection, and you've changed the microclimate of Niagara Falls.
Well, you're right about that because these days they have to have salt trucks standing by there all day because that mist could change anytime. And when it changes, it freezes the road in the winter. And then there's big trouble down there. So they got to have them there all the time.
And just think of the CO2 emissions of those two buildings. I mean, this is dangerous stuff. I mean, maybe we only got 10 years to live in Niagara Falls, right?
Well, I do.
I'm calling Greta. Bumberg and get her opinion on this. She'll stand up.
How dare you, Jim Diodaddy? How dare you?
Ruin my life and my children and grandchildren's life.
How dare you? I getting on my boat and going back to Finland or wherever she's
Greta
from.
Bumberg did surface a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw her.
Yeah.
She's like old now.
But she's not even, but you're right. What did a couple of years do to her? She could be a cyborg.
Oh, she's probably about 25 years old now. That was a long time she did that whole fly across the ocean but pretend she's on a boat trip.
She looks like at least what I saw, she looks like she's in her 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not aging well. She's only in her 20s.
Well, stress. It's probably the stress of the environment.
Well,
on her body and everything.
Yeah. She got forced to do all this stuff by her parents and that. And when she was 14 years old or whatever.
Well, they found out that a lot of her speeches were being written by the elite class and sent to her. They found that. They found that in email. So
I don't doubt it. I wonder if P. Diddy had anything to do with that.
Well, if he anything's possible with P. Diddy, but P. Diddy's the pawn. Okay, the P. Diddy pawn.
The P. Diddy pawn.
PDP.
P. Diddy Pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I got to get to my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Now, we're coming up to Christmas. We're coming up to Halloween. And there's a lot of people like to decorate their house. So I see them out there on ladders, putting up these strings of lights on their bushes and ghosts and goblins. And then I see them take them all down when the weather gets crappy in the rain. Then I see them get out there the 1st of December, and they got their Christmas lights going up and red and green. And like it's a crappy weather to do it, but they do it because they want to decorate their house. Well, guess what? Throw all your lights in the garbage and call Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. They are the professionals in track lighting for your house, permanent outdoor track lighting. They're going to come up, put these LED lights, which are very low on
energy costs.
That's right.
Very, very low.
Yes, LED lighting. And they're going to put them up there in tracks and in zones so you can have them work any way you want. If you want red and green for Christmas, you change the colors right on your phone. And when they put them up, they're soldered. The joints, they're not these plugs you plug in and water gets in and blows on. No. They're all soldered, sealed against dust, and sealed against moisture. So you don't have to worry about them. You do everything from your phone. Lifetime warranty. That's how confident they are of their product and their work.
That's amazing.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
They're affordable. They add value to your home. They add safety to your home because they light up walkways and all that. How can you go wrong? But I would say if you're going to call them, give them a call. This is the time of year they get busy because a lot of people want these up for Christmas so they can have a beautiful lighting on their house at Christmas. And they can stand out on the sidewalk going like this.
Looking at their neighbor.
Yep, not up on the ladder, just waiting to fall off and break your neck for Christmas. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting.
And you know what? The other thing too is you mentioned safety. It's an easy word to say, right?
Yeah, right.
But just imagine your house is lit all the way around. Thieves and criminals don't want to come up to a lit house because they can be seen.
No.
So it's key.
And you don't want to come up to a dark house where you can't see and you fall over some plant you got sitting there and break your neck. Yeah. And so good safety. And like you said, thieves are less likely to come and do anything wacky when there's lights on all over the place. And because they cost so little, you can leave them on all night.
You got it.
You don't have to shut them off because you don't want to run your...
And I imagine you get them on a timer too, right?
Yeah, it's all set up. You all set it all up on your phone. So it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Call Colin Buckbro. He'll come down and give you a free quote. And his number is 289-969-1797. And that's it. That's how easy it is. Just give him a call. He's going to come down and see you. 289-969-1797.
And so while my neighbors are out there, I'm going to be doing...
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's good.
Check this out, dude. And away you go. And he's going to come down and give you a quote. And if it's a little bit heavy for you, they do have financing on approved credit, so you can pay a low monthly fee and still enjoy these beautiful lights. Okay, now here's another thing that I want to talk about, and that's Doug Ford's tunnel. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about the tunnel.
No? Oh, this is a good one. I love it.
I heard him talking about immigration.
Well, you're a Bostonian.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember what happened in Boston? They did the big dig and they put the tunnel right into the city.
Yeah.
Well, Doug Ford says because of all the problems with environmental and expanding the 401, which they have no room to expand it anymore, and that he wants to dig a tunnel from Scarberia out through the city under the 401.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And
then right under the city, right across Lake Ontario.
I'm saying what they should do is just do the same thing for the Gardner Expressway and get that monstrosity that's falling apart out of there and go under and have exits to all the Bay Street and Yonge Street and everything else, right?
There's another thing. You look at city planning, right? And you go, how are you allowed to build all those? And I mean, I hadn't been in Toronto for a few years. I went in Toronto. I could not believe the ugly, cheap-looking buildings they have built along the Gardner. I'm going, how can you put that kind of volume of traffic and people when it couldn't handle it before? And now it's like you've got this Gardner, which is like a little sidewalk compared to what it should be, right? How do you do that? The city planner should never have been allowed to do that until they fixed that problem.
Yeah, because there is a problem going in there with the Gardner, and it's falling apart, and it's going to cost billions of dollars to fix. And you're going to disrupt traffic on one of two roads to get into Toronto, because really all you have is the Gardner and the 401.
That's it.
Now the 407 is built. Not a lot of people use it. It's underused, Crombie says.
Not at that price.
And what they should do is buy it back. we owned it.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard in my life, is that they did that. The craziest.
It is. But the thing is, if you don't have it free, it's still going to be underused because people don't want to pay. That's the whole problem. People do not want to pay if they have an option of free.
Yeah.
Right? So
well, I'm sure the cost could have been brought down had we still owned it as compared to a private company offshore that owns it.
Well, I mean, what you hope with government projects, and it's like the Garden City Skyway and that, is if once they get it paid for, the actual capital cost is paid for by revenue from tolls, you hope that they open it up.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with the Garden City Skyway and the Burlington Skyway for that matter.
Yep.
Once they were paid, they opened it up.
Yeah, I forgot about those old tolls. They were such a pain.
The tokens, you had to stop and throw it in the basket and buy little envelopes, 20 at a time to get a cheaper
That's when the
rate.
Garden City racetrack was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to take the back road so we didn't have to go.
Okay. Hoping the bridge wasn't up in the canal.
But we don't want to buy back the 407.
No.
Let the private enterprise run it and do what they got to do. It's a nice little perk for people who want to pay and can afford to pay. And if you can't use the busier roads, but going underneath solves a lot of the environmental issues that everybody talks about, like farmland and eating up farmland and that kind of thing. So it's a perfect solution. It's going to put 5,000 people to work like they did in Boston with the Big Dig. It took them 16 years to do it. So this is going to be a long-term project that's going to put people to work with good paying jobs. I don't see the downside of it. I mean, it's going to cost billions of dollars, but
will we see it in our lifetime?
Probably not. Yeah. I probably I can't even imagine them. It'll take 10 years to get all the permits and red tape just to start it.
Yeah.
That's going to put me into my 80s.
And the secret is I won't need it anyways.
No, well, we won't need it. Like, I never used those roads. I couldn't care what they charge for them. What do they do with them?
But what is it? It's close to $70 to go end to end one way on the 407.
Oh, it's expensive. I know that. Just even a little jaunt costs you $15.
Yeah, I think it's more than that now.
Yeah, so transponder fees and that. Of course, if you have a transponder, you pay. It's a little bit cheaper. But I like this idea. I think they should really look into doing it. And of course, all the other guys, Schreiner and Crombie and Merritt Stiles are all coming up with this idea to buy the 407 back and open it up. But, of course, they're going to say the opposite of what Doug Ford says, only because they're the opposition, right?
Now, it would be cheaper than digging holes, but they had these big munchers that did the tunnel under the city, right? These big machines that dig fairly quickly, actually.
Yeah, they just finished one big one. Remember Big Becky was in town?
Yeah.
And when they finished that, I said, just take it to the shore over in Lake Ontario there and start going at Niagara Lake.
Wouldn't that be good?
Don't come out until you hit the, the island there, the Bayfront shore.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a neat idea. I really like the idea, but a lot of people don't. It's going to cost billions of dollars. But you know what? They're legacy projects. And Boston, I mean, they did it. And
I've been through the tunnel.
Yeah.
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was in Boston, maybe a series of tunnels where it went under and then it came up at certain spots, and when you go back into it, pretty neat actually.
It's a cool city, especially you got the Bruins there, Patriots.
That's the worst part of it. But other than that,
Bobby Orr's statue flying through the air.
Yeah, I like the history of Boston. There's a lot of history.
It is very cool.
It is a great city. It is a great city. Although, a lot of the fans are, T-shirts with spaghetti sauce on it, and then they got to go back to their trailers after the game.
Yeah, it's better than all the suits over in Toronto. We don't even know what the game's about or what an offside is.
See, Montreal's got the poutine.
There's a reason to go.
Yeah, there's a reason to go. Now, what about the Middle East here? Let's talk about that for a minute. We got big trouble over there, Peter.
Huge. But it's all been instigated.
It definitely has. Now, they're bombing Beirut again today. And, of course, Israel said they're going to attack Iran. And Iran didn't just send cruise missiles and this nonsense. They sent ICBMs over.
Yeah. Serious
stuff that got through the Iron Dome, of course. And it's showing how vulnerable Israel is to Iran. And you know what? I mean, I think Iran could wipe Israel out with all the other Arab states there because they're surrounded. They're fighting on four fronts. Hezbollah to the north, Hamas to the east, Houthis to the south, and Iran to the west is the Hamas, and then to the east is Iran.
I think Hezbollah has been really, really decimated. I believe that. Houthi, same thing. I hear that Israel wants to target the nuclear facilities of Iran. I don't have a problem with that, to be quite honest with you. I think Israel has a lot of power that you don't even know about. Okay, they're the Mossad, and just look what happened to Hezbollah. Okay, they have a lot of things up their sleeve that I don't think the Americans even know they have.
Well, they definitely have good intelligence.
Yeah.
Because if you can go into Taiwan, infiltrate a factory, plant plastic explosives into pagers and walkie-talkies, send them back to Lebanon, to the Hezbollah, and then ignite them at will
I know.
and blow the hell out of these guys, you got to say that's some pretty darn good intelligence and infiltration and spy. This is spy versus spy.
You know, there's going to be, I guess on October 7th, there's going to be all kinds of protests in Canada and the US about Palestine.
Oh, yeah?
These are terrorist organizations running these countries.
Yeah?
They have killed all kinds of people. They supposedly brought down 2 twin towers and killed at least 3,000 people, not counting the people who have died from the diseases after those towers went down, from all the asbestos and stuff. So these are the people you're supporting. These are the people that went in and tortured brutally 1,200 minimum young people, innocent people. Horrible.
Took hostages.
Yeah, and then cut their heads off, put them in ovens. Like, you want to hear that stuff, but guess what? That's what they did. Speared and raped women and carried them around on these poles. I mean, it was disgusting. And you can't tell me if that happened in the city of Niagara Falls that people wouldn't be calling for action. You can't say that. There's no way that you can say that. And Israel has been out of Gaza since 2007. Remember that. They have been out of there. This was all orchestrated, and I don't know who orchestrated. I don't believe it was Hamas. I believe there was a whole pile of things in behind that where people are trying to stir up the world, disorient everybody, and they want to destroy democracy. Let's get that fact straight. That's the only democracy in that area. It is the only one.
And the only friend to the U.S. in that area.
I don't know how long that will be.
Well,
because Biden stood up the other day and said they support it. But you got Iran saying they've set out videos of how to kill Trump. And you're not standing up as a president and going, this continues, you'll continue you will not exist again. That's what needs to be said to these people. Somebody has to stand up and say, N-O. And I don't care what you think about Trump. That's disgusting.
Well, it is. And they've got 5 hit squads in the United States right now trying to get after him. And they just found that there was 9 surface-to-air missiles that got through the border of New Mexico, through the open borders policies of Biden, and are in the hands of 3 squads, 3 each, looking to shoot down Trump Force 1.
Well, hopefully Trump Force 1 isn't the real one that you see. And, they've let in 425,000 hardened criminals are in the States through those open doors. How that even happens is beyond me. They're criminals. It's not catch and release. It's send back. There's no question about that.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Take 425,000 and put them in the 8 or 9 or 10 major cities of the United States of America. You've got 40,000 of these people walking around. What do you think kind of havoc they could create?
Yeah, well, and 400. You see, we got to remember that the Secret Service and the Border Patrol and ICE and all these other 3-letter organizations, right,
that protect
have
everybody.
to get it right 100% of the time. All the terrorists have to do is get it right once.
Correct.
And they cause havoc. And so I don't know what's going to happen over there.
DEI hires in the Secret Service alone showed you what the problem is.
Yeah,
exactly. With the
exactly.
assassination attempt on Trump. It showed you the problem. If you didn't see that straight up, it was right there in front of your face.
And I don't know what the response from Israel is going to be. But, if it's big enough, then if they get everybody to start attacking Israel, then we got a world war. The United States is going to have to step in. And we don't want to see that. So I'm hoping that I don't know how much damage was done. Nobody was really talking about how much damage was done by these ICBMs they shot over these ballistic missiles. If it's a measured response, according to what damage was done by them, then we might not see a huge response against Iran, which would be good.
Start with sanctions immediately.
That's what they should do.
Immediately.
That's Biden.
100% that's Biden. And let's not forget Harris.
Yeah, Biden and Harris, yeah. But they should get him off the beach and see if he can maybe do something with this. I mean, they're the ones who gave him the billions of dollars. They're the ones who took off the sanctions so they could sell oil. And it's never been the same since. Ever since they did that, we saw Hamas. And now we see Hezbollah. We see Houthis. They're all funded.
Everybody knows they're funded, including the U.S. government who helped fund them.
Yeah.
Think about it. What a crazy circle that is. What a crazy circle that is.
So I got to get my third sponsor in here, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Now, Thursday night for me is pizza night. But I got it
tonight.
Well, I usually do get one on Thursday.
I'm coming to your place.
No, I got it last night.
No, he says. Oh, you got it last night.
Yeah, to be honest.
Because you knew I was going to be hungry today.
I had a couple pieces of Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. I had a couple pieces this morning.
Wow.
Out of the fridge. I always eat it out of the fridge. So
I like it that way too.
Yeah. Yeah, cold out of the fridge. If it can pass that test to me,
it's good. Yeah, you're right.
It's not a bad pizza. And they make a good pizza there. It's a recipe from the Mancini family, who started Pete's Pizza 40 years ago in St. Catharines. And the guy who runs it is a guy named Mike. And he has 15 years experience in Italian restaurants. So he got this franchise of Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. And he makes the pizzas. And they're pretty darn good. I'm a pretty big pizza snob, and I like his pizzas. So you got to do it. They use fresh ingredients. The dough is from the Mancini family recipe. The sauce is from the Mancini family recipe. And he knows how to do the right ratio on the pizza. So it's not overly cooked with cheese. It doesn't have enough sauce. No, the perfect ratio.
Sweet sauce? Is it a sweet sauce?
It's not yet. It's kind of a little bit sweet, but not really
just a touch.
Just a touch. Just a touch. And it's really, really good. You can get all kinds of toppings on it. Of course, they have the whole rig. I like the Canadian, which has mushrooms, bacon crumble on it, and pepperoni. That's one of my favorites. I get them to do it a little bit cook it a little bit more well done. I like mine a little bit well done.
I like the green olives.
Oh, they
make it Italiano.
Yeah, they got green olives. That's good. Onions are good on it. I mean, I can load a pizza up. I love it. But anyway, they make a great pizza. But they also have poutine subs. They have the whole shop down there, everything. And they have great hours. They've expanded their hours to 12 midnight on Sunday through Thursday and all the way to 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday.
So they're basically the only pizza place open.
Yeah.
Because most of them close at 10, don't they?
Yeah, around 10 they're done. So if you got those late night munchies after coming in from a stint at a local tavern.
Or puffing on some of that stuff, that wacky tobacco.
The wacky tobacco.
You might get hungry.
And there you go. You got a pizzeria open on Friday and Saturday till 2 a.m. That's Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, 905-374-2222. Give them a call today or petespizzavictoria.ca. You can go there and you can order online and enjoy a great pizza. It's your night. Go get a pizza tonight and have a good time.
You can't go wrong with a name, Pete's.
No, Pete's.
Yeah.
No, Pete's.
Yeah.
Peter's Pizza.
I'm in.
How can you go wrong? It's got to be good. Yeah, no, it's.
They are good. I've had them. They are good.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's another one in town that isn't as good as this one. Let me put it that way.
I agree with you.
I've tried that and I didn't like it too much. But Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, it's pretty damn good for a pizza, and I like it.
You can tell Mike sent you too.
Yeah. Mike sent me. No, Paul sent you.
Yeah.
Paul sent you to see Mike. Yeah, tell Mike Paul sent you. There you go. Support our sponsors. They support us. Thank you very much. And the last thing I want to just talk about just for a minute here, because we're getting on 1 o'clock.
Are we already?
Yeah, I know.
I got one quick thing before we go out of here.
Okay. Just let's get to this. I want to comment on the debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz.
Yes.
And I call it a death by 1,000 cuts. There was no big hammer swung by Vance or Walz at this debate. It was J.D. Vance cutting, point after point after point after point, to the point where I think Walz is going to vote for J.D. Vance.
Well, did you see him? I mean, he was like, his eyes were open. He's like, oh my God. Every time he had to talk, he's like, am I here? What? This is amazing. And he was like a bobblehead. And Vance just sucked him in.
Oh, he did.
He became a fan. He really did.
Here's my wallet. You don't even have to steal it. Yeah, here you go, JD. You don't have to. No, he was fantastic. He showed a real like emotional side, a sympathetic side, a caring side, but also when the moderators fact checked them and they were wrong.
They're a disgrace.
Well, they were disgraced, but when they were wrong, he took them to task and said, "No, you're wrong."
And they tried to talk over him and shut him down. And
yes.
Listen, the rule was there is no fact checking by the host.
Right.
And they did it. And when he went at them, they couldn't believe it. They didn't know how to handle it, and they choked.
Yeah, it was about the Haitians in Springfield. I think Springfield.
It was about the illegal immigration, and they were saying it was legal. They were put there legally.
And then Tim said, "Well, yeah, they're legal technically, but they didn't go through a vetting process. They were fast tracked through it, and they weren't really vetted. So they gave him a tag of legal, but they really weren't. And they said that he was wrong, and then he told them the truth about it
and quoted.
Yeah, and quoted.
And then they made fun of it. Oh, thanks for the lesson.
Yeah,
well, you needed a lesson.
Yeah, according to CA 163, he knows his stuff. That guy.
He's very smart, and you know what? They complement each other. Him and Trump. They what this one lacks, the other one has. What that one lacks, the other one has. It is a great combination. It'll be a great administration. I'm telling you right now, the world will change when those two get in. Yeah, it will change whether you like Trump or whether you don't. You're going to have strength in your country again. You're going to have strength in Canada again because we follow suit no matter what you think. Without them, we don't exist in this world. We're taken over by somebody.
You better hope
we're being ostriches.
You better hope the right people get in because right now, as we speak, there's a dock workers strike. And there's nobody to get in there like Biden or Harris and settle this.
He's on the beach.
And they're saying that for every day of that strike, it's going to take a week to get the system back up and running again, much like the CN strike in Canada. And these guys are on strike on the East Coast, and there's nothing coming in, and that's including cars, that's including supplies from China, all the stuff that you buy and you use every day. Anything that's made outside of the United States or Canada, you don't have to worry about toilet paper. That's made in here. You don't go stock it up on toilet paper.
Like don't do it. Don't.
You don't have to. That's made here. But anything that you get off of Amazon or from Walmart, a lot of the stuff, you're not going to be able to get it. And after about 3 weeks, it will take them a week for every day. So that's 21 weeks, which is like 6 months to get everything back up and running again.
You think it's done on purpose? You think it's done on purpose?
Well, somebody was saying Trump talked, and he knows the guy real well. He said, go on strike just before the election and really give it.
Well, Trump affects everything. Trump did this. Trump told them not to sign the Green Deal agreement, right? Because he's the guy that runs the party.
These guys want an 80% raise.
Yeah, well.
And but they hold people hostage. The union leaders said, we've worked hard. We worked all through COVID. People were dying from COVID. Well, everybody else had it off and was getting paid by the government. We worked to keep you guys supplied. Now we want a cut of the money that we saved everybody in the society that we saved.
Yeah, 80%.
No, and it's
what were they living?
They hold you hostage. They're allowed to hold you hostage.
Well, it should never be allowed to be that way.
And if we had somebody who could go and negotiate with these guys and sit down, which Trump has done with unions his whole life.
Yep.
That's what he did with all his hotels around the world with unions. I mean, you don't build anything in New York City without dealing with unions. And the unions are owned by the mob.
I wasn't going to say it and let you say it. Yeah.
They're owned by the mob.
Yeah. They run their own government.
That's right. So Trump can negotiate with these guys. He knows the deal. He's friends with this guy that's in charge. He knows them. This is the kind of guy we need negotiating. And so, when prices start going up and there's shortages of stuff, remember, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't do a damn thing. And I don't know what they can do,
Because they're too busy.
Well, they're too busy doing nothing. Your last point before we go.
Yeah. Hurricanes. And I got this thing sent to me on email this morning, and it's a list of patents. And I thought, this could be true.
Oh, I think you sent that to me.
Did I send it to you?
I saw something about that.
So I read it and went, this can't be. But then I went and did the research, like you should do on anything, including things you stick in your body.
Including things you hear on the show.
These are these are patents, actual patents, and it's talking about weather change. About it goes from 2003 up to 2022. About using special sound waves to get the ocean stirred up, so it creates high winds. About actually creating hurricanes and tornadoes. These are patents. And when you start looking at the last hurricane, which, by the way, there's been worse hurricanes. Okay, I believe it was Hazel or something was worse, higher winds. So this isn't the record-setting hurricane of all time. It's weird what it did. It went up the middle of the Gulf. It went straight into Tallahassee. Went across towards the Atlantic Ocean to North Carolina and in between.
And then turned.
Didn't get dragged out in the ocean, which it should, because there's a massive energy out there that storms are attracted to, and then it does an about face and goes back over towards Tennessee. Something weird about that whole thing. And they have these patents. Check them out.
They can guide the hurricanes.
They can create them if these patents are being executed and are true. So it's a scary situation where you're talking about world disruption. You want to ruin countries, tear them down piece by piece, give them diseases, wipe them out financially, and what happens? You end up with a third world country that cannot support itself, and now you're open to people coming in and taking you over in a communist regime.
And it's wild. The hills of Tennessee get a hurricane, and there's so much water running down the mountains, they wiped out whole towns.
Yeah, mudslides. My good friend in North right on the border of North Carolina and West Virginia, he's at 2,500 feet. He doesn't have any power, but everything below him. What a mess. What an absolute mess and a disgrace. And how come there was no warnings about that? How does a hurricane come slamming in to the panhandle and does some pretty serious damage, but then continues on inland and does worse?
Yeah, that's odd.
Because usually a big landmass will slow a hurricane or any storm down. It didn't.
No, it didn't. And it couldn't pick up any energy from the land. It picks it up from the hot Gulf.
And if you look at where it started, this really started on the southwest coast of Cuba, right between there and Mexico. And
there's another one coming too, following it.
Well, there's several out there, right? So
who knows?
You know what? Look it up. The patents are there. It's kind of scary to think that anybody would be doing that, but Bill Gates did admit it's 2 years now that he is responsible for the spraying you see in the skies because he wants to reduce the climate temperature a couple of degrees. Doesn't matter if you have an eruption from a volcano to drop it another 2, which will end life here. But anyways, something to think about, something to research. A little scary if they've got their hands in anything like that. And it's funny they would go straight up to Santis's alley, right to Tallahassee, right?
Yeah, that's not the way hurricanes usually work. They go back out into the ocean, the Atlantic. And once in a while when you get out there, they might hit a high pressure that pushes them to, maybe the Massachusetts area, Nova Scotia and that. But very seldom do they go through there and then make a left-hand turn and go up through Atlanta, Georgia, and Tennessee and that.
You look at Ian a few years ago, right? Came up, did a complete right angle, went into Fort Myers, and stayed there for 18 hours.
Yeah.
Now, here's what you didn't hear, and I know it because I was going down to Florida at the time, meeting some friends in Daytona. It went across the Daytona Beach. You didn't hear about this. Turned around in the middle of the ocean and went back and sat there for 18 hours, decimated Daytona Beach. I just got into a hotel on the 8th floor, which was just open. Every hotel level was closed because of that hurricane. Great, huge Olympic-sized pools turned upside down and cracked in half.
It's amazing. It's like the magic bullet.
Yeah.
It's like the magic bullet.
18 hours in Fort Myers. Hey, let's head out there and go out into the ocean and turn around, come back and hit Daytona straight on it. That's a fact. Check it out. It's the truth. I was there. I saw it. I witnessed it. So.
It's funny. You stand on the beach going, hasta la vista, and then you look and it's turning around, coming back at you.
Yeah. And I mean, they talk about these crazy winds. One quick story. 2 weeks ago at my trailer right on Lake Erie, down by Dunville, Lowbanks. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm hearing this rumbling coming across the lake. I'm going, what is that? I've never heard it before. I swear to you, I've never heard this before. It was this massive rumbling, and it got louder and louder and louder. 7 o'clock in the morning, several of my friends couldn't believe it. This wind came in and just smacked my trailer and just like pushed me over for 45 minutes straight. Rains like you've never seen before. Trees bent right over. I couldn't believe it. Never seen anything like that. And then it was gone.
It's almost like a water spout coming ashore or something.
It was wicked. It was really,
Wild,
really
huh?
wicked. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And our government shut down, so we,
Yeah. Anyway, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you viewing this video. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down. Give us your comments, and we'll talk about them on the next show. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you know when the next one is. And yeah, just basically keep on watching. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. Local stuff from over here, stuff from over there. We don't care. We talk about everything.
Yeah. And you have an opportunity to, like I said, thumbs up, thumbs down. That's the best. Whatever you think. At least open your mouth.
Yeah, comment. Let us know what you think. If we're wacky, tell us we're wacky.
Just don't say we're weird.
Just remember our names. Paul K. Lemire.
And Peter
Dychtiar.
Yeah.
Right? And this is Your City, Your Voice coming to you live every day at noon, except for Wednesdays when I do Habsolutely. All Habs, all show. Tomorrow's finally Friday. Be back with more interesting stuff tomorrow at noon. We always do in the studios of 4680Q.
The home created by Rick Rose.
And I was just going to say, the other day we had a little thing here where Gary Wilkins brought in a check for the Rick Rose Music Foundation and donated money to that, to his son Jake Myrie, and we had a little thing on video to do that. And yesterday on Habs, it was our 100th show.
Nice. Congratulations.
Right? So we dedicated the show to Rick Rose.
Nice.
Because, of course, he was the guy who wanted me to do Habsolutely. And 100 shows later, here we are.
I went by his gravesite the other day. I was doing the winter cleanup for my family, right? And I had to stop by there. And I can't believe he's gone. I can't.
I know.
He was such a life force, right? Can't believe he's gone. I miss him a lot.
It's surreal. And actually, I got my 400th show coming up on Your City, Your Voice.
When?
Probably next, let's see, what's today? I think today's 395. So I'll have 4 more shows. 399 will be next Friday. No, 396. Probably next Friday.
Well, I was there for your 100th.
And 200.
Yes, and 200.
And 300.
Yeah, so I have to be there.
You got to be there next Friday. You got to be here for the 400th show. Number 400.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's a lot of work. It really, really is. And you've done a great job. You really have.
No, I thank you, Peter. I'm just a dummy behind the microphone like every other guy.
Hey, at least you got the balls to do it. And it takes balls.
Well, but I do give credit where credit is due. I actually said something nice about Councillor Patel today. So
hey, you know what? Give them credit when they deserve it. I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely with you on that.
Yeah. And you know what? Before I change my mind, I'm getting out of here. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy this beautiful weather. We'll see you tomorrow at noon on Finally Friday. Ciao, ciao for now.